As the offseason rolls forward and free agency hits full swing, the Golden State Warriors find themselves at a critical crossroads. With the memory of last season's early playoff exit still fresh and the Dynasty era potentially entering its final act, one thing is clear: changes need to be made. But not all changes need to be seismic. In fact, sometimes the right bench piece can be the difference between a deep playoff run and a first-round disappointment. That brings us to the name on everyone's radar: Ben Simmons. Yes, Ben Simmons. Former Rookie of the Year, three-time All-Star, a player whose career trajectory has taken a sharp detour from early dominance to a string of injuries, inconsistencies, and stalled development. But here's the thing: the Warriors aren't necessarily looking for Simmons to be a star. They may not even need him to start. They need someone to stabilize the bench, fill minutes smartly, and bring defensive energy in the absence of Draymond Green. And in that role, Simmons might actually make a lot of sense. According to a recent report from Bleacher Report's Eric Pincus, the Warriors are eyeing Simmons as a low-risk, high-upside acquisition. Let's be honest, Golden State hasn't exactly lit up the free agency board so far. But with restricted free agency drama surrounding Jonathan Kuminga and uncertainty about roster depth, this could be the right time to roll the dice. From a basketball standpoint, Simmons offers something the Warriors could use off the bench: defensive switchability, court vision, and length. At 6'10", he can guard multiple positions, push the ball in transition, and serve as a secondary facilitator when Steph Curry rests or when Draymond sits. Even if his scoring remains inconsistent, which it likely will, the Warriors wouldn't be bringing him in to light up the scoreboard. They'd be bringing him in to defend, rebound, pass, and make smart plays. And that, Warriors fans, is exactly the kind of role he's suited for at this stage in his career. Let's also not ignore the fact that Simmons won't break the bank. He could be signed using the mid-level exception, leaving the Warriors flexibility to continue shaping the roster around Curry, Butler, and Green. In a league where contracts balloon fast, adding a player with his pedigree and athleticism at a discounted rate is a smart, Warrior-style move. And then there's the culture fit. Critics will question Simmons' motor, and fairly so, but Golden State has a unique locker room. They've taken in players with baggage before and helped them thrive. Simmons, in a system led by Steve Kerr, with vocal leaders like Curry and Draymond, could rediscover not just his game, but his confidence. Now let's be real, Simmons isn't going to turn this team into title favorites overnight. He's not KD, he's not Clay. But in the ever-competitive Western Conference, every marginal gain matters. And if the Warriors can squeeze even 80% of peak Simmons out of this deal, that could be a game changer when playoff rotations tighten and defense becomes the name of the game. Warriors Nation, we want to hear from you. Should the Dubs take a flyer on Ben Simmons? Do you believe Curry can get the most out of him? Or would you rather the team look elsewhere for depth and defense off the bench? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Tell us whether this move excites you or concerns you. And don't forget to like and subscribe so you never miss a beat of this offseason.
Warriors Nation, let's talk about something that might have flown under the radar. But if you followed this franchise long enough, you know that nothing Curry says is by accident. During a recent interview, when asked about the possibility of Al Horford joining the Warriors, Steph responded with a grin and said, "He's a champion, great player. When all that stuff happens, I'll talk about it." That slight slip from if to when lit up the fan base. It wasn't just a soundbite, it was a breadcrumb. And if history tells us anything, the Warriors don't drop clues like that without a reason. So what does it mean? Could Al Horford, five-time All-Star, NBA champion, and one of the smartest big men in the game, really be the next veteran to join the Warriors' quest for one more title? If so, this could be the move that perfectly balances youth, experience, and playoff readiness. Let's break it down. Al Horford isn't the guy who's going to play 35 minutes a night anymore. At 39 years old, he's not outrunning or outjumping anyone. But guess what? He doesn't have to. That's not why the Warriors would want him. They'd want him because he's savvy, he's clutch, and he plays the kind of smart, unselfish basketball that's defined Golden State's identity during the Dynasty era. This team doesn't need more highlight reels. They need consistency. They need floor spacing. They need a big man who makes the right pass, takes the open shot, boxes out without being told, and knows how to win when it matters. Al Horford checks every one of those boxes. Now imagine this rotation: Steph Curry, Jimmy Butler, Draymond Green, Al Horford, and maybe a younger piece like Brandon Podziemski or Trace Jackson Davis off the bench. That's balance. That's IQ. That's playoff basketball. Horford's potential arrival also aligns with how the Warriors have moved in recent years. This franchise thrives on chemistry and leadership. It's why Andre Iguodala was so valuable. It's why adding Jimmy Butler already looks like a genius move. Horford fits right into that mold. A respected vet who can teach without preaching, who can guide without overshadowing. Let's not forget his skill set either. Horford stretches the floor with his shooting, giving Curry more room to operate. He can still guard in the post and switch on defense when needed. And most importantly, he's not afraid of the moment. That's the kind of mentality you need in the West, especially when facing teams like Denver, Minnesota, or Dallas in the postseason. And then there's Steph Curry himself, the ultimate franchise compass. If he's giving Horford the green light, even indirectly, that speaks volumes. Curry doesn't make public endorsements lightly, and you better believe the front office hears it when he does. The Warriors have always operated with a long-term vision. They know that keeping the core competitive in the twilight years means surrounding them with players who think the game, not just run it. Horford would be another chess piece in that plan. But what do you think, Warriors Nation? Is Al Horford the veteran voice we need in the locker room? Would his presence push the Warriors back into true contention? Or is this a move that comes 2 seasons too late? Let us know in the comments. Are you buying into Steph's when, not if energy? Or do you think the Dubs should keep their eyes on someone younger, more explosive? Your voice matters, and it's time to speak up. Hit that comment section, like the video, and don't forget to subscribe to Warriors Nation News so you never miss a second of what could be a wild offseason in the Bay.
Warriors fans, it's time we step back and look at the big picture. The pieces are starting to fall into place. This offseason might not be headlined by blockbuster trades or max-level signings, but what we're seeing is something potentially even more strategic, a reload, not a rebuild. Let's connect the dots. First, there's Ben Simmons, a former All-Star, now an undervalued free agent with something to prove. A player who once guarded the league's best, ran the floor like a point forward, and delivered highlight reel dimes. If the Warriors bring him in on a team-friendly deal, it's not about turning him into a superstar again, it's about rebuilding his confidence in the right environment. One where defense, ball movement, and selfless play are king. And who better to do that than Steve Kerr and the Warriors? Next, we have Al Horford, the ultimate veteran presence. If you want a reliable big man who understands spacing, defense, and clutch decision-making, he's the guy. He's not coming in to save the season, but rather to anchor the second unit, stretch the floor, and offer postseason composure that can be the difference between heartbreak and a trip to the finals. Now, zoom out. Add Simmons and Horford to a core of Stephen Curry, Draymond Green, and Jimmy Butler. That's a team with toughness, intelligence, and just enough firepower to go toe-to-toe with anyone in the West. And remember, you're not asking any of these players to carry the full load. You're asking Simmons to bring defense and tempo off the bench. You're asking Horford to space the floor and stabilize the front court. You're asking Butler to bring that playoff grit the team was missing last year. It's a collective elevation, not an individual gamble. And this is what Golden State has always done best. They don't chase names for headlines. They build rosters with purpose. The mid-level exception, veteran minimums, and sign-and-trade options might not seem flashy, but this front office knows how to maximize value. Think back to the Iguodala signing in 2013, or Sean Livingston, or Otto Porter Jr. in 2022. All of them brought in for roles they fulfilled brilliantly. Simmons and Horford could very well be the next names on that list. What's even more encouraging? These moves don't compromise the youth movement. Guys like Brandon Podziemski, Trace Jackson Davis, and possibly even a re-signed Jonathan Kuminga could continue developing under the mentorship of proven veterans. That's the best of both worlds, win now and build for later. Of course, the success of all this hinges on chemistry, health, and, most of all, urgency. The Western Conference isn't waiting around. Teams like Denver, Minnesota, and OKC are younger and deeper.
Dallas just went to the finals. But if the Warriors stay smart, stay healthy, and stay aggressive, they don't need to fear anyone. And let's not forget the biggest X factor of all, Steph Curry. Still elite, still dangerous, still ready to lead. So here's the bottom line, Warriors Nation. If Bob Myers was known for building dynasties, Mike Dunleavy Jr. has a chance to extend it. He just needs to take the calculated swings. Simmons and Horford aren't long-term solutions, but they're right-now solutions. The kind his team needs if they want to keep the championship window cracked open. Now, we want to hear from you. Do you believe this strategy works? Is this the right approach? Smart, targeted veteran signings instead of blowing it all up? Or should the Dubs aim bigger, even if it means trading away core assets? Tell us what you'd do if you were in the front office. Drop your thoughts in the comments, smash that like button, and don't forget to subscribe to Warriors Nation News, where we follow every rumor, every quote, and every move that could bring the Larry O'Brien Trophy back to the Bay. The offseason is just getting started, but trust us, the Warriors are not done yet.